Before you were a name, you were a breath in the dark, a silent whisper, unnamed, unbroken, unlost. And sometimes, ever so faintly, a memory brushes against you, wordless, gentle, like a shadow not of this world, a memory of another life, one untouched by age, by time, by fear. Jesus spoke of this mystery in words that echo like a quiet call across the ages. He said, "The old man will not hesitate to ask a little child, 7 days old, about the place of life, and he shall live. For many who are first will become last, and they shall become one." A truth, soft as a whisper, not loud, not graspable, only a breath of something waiting in silence. An old man stands at the edge of time, bent, worn by countless days, and yet his eyes seek, not the future, not the past, but something deeper, something that was there before his very first breath. He does not seek wisdom, nor glory, nor power. He seeks the child, for the child holds what the old man has lost: memory. Not the memory of stories, of victories or defeats, but the memory of the origin, of the light that neither comes nor goes, of the life that was never born, because it never ceased to be. Perhaps we all still carry it, buried deep beneath the years and layers, under heavy dust. Perhaps it still lingers within us, the first gaze, the first breath of being, still undivided from its source. "7 days old," so it is said. Within the stillness of this number lies a secret, a memory, that life does not grow blindly, but follows an order unseen by the eyes, yet felt by the soul. In the biblical scriptures, it is said that the world was created in 6 days, and on the 7th, God rested. In Judaism and Islam, this number remains a sign of completion, of rest, of return to the origin. 7 heavens above us, 7 earths beneath, 7 gates leading through the visible and invisible worlds. And in Gnosis too, we find the 7 heavens through which the soul ascends, veil after veil, until the hidden is revealed. In the wisdom of ancient Egypt, the 7 were known as steps of rebirth, as gateways lining the path from earth to light. And among the mystics and seekers, those who did not see with their eyes but with their hearts, the 7 became a sign, not of completion, but of the path toward it. A gentle reminder that the origin is not lost, only forgotten, and that the return does not begin with a single step, but with 7 silent paths into the unseen. 7, the point where becoming turns into being, where the child is still in the world, but not of it, touched by time, but not yet captured. John of the Cross, a mystic of the 16th century, who sought the night of the soul and the light of God in deep silence, wrote, "To possess all, seek to possess nothing. to be everything, desire to be nothing. 7 days, just enough to glimpse the light, yet not enough to forget it. A child of 7 days, between heaven and earth, between origin and becoming, between memory and loss. A being at the threshold. And, perhaps, it is this place the old man seeks. Not the knowledge of scholars, nor the power of kings, but the place where being is still being, undivided, unbecome, unforgotten. To ask about the place of life. What is this place? The place the child still knows, and the old man has lost. A place, not built from walls, not found on any map, not reached by steps or years. The place of life is not beyond the seas, nor in the palaces of the wise, nor in the mirrors of power. It is hidden, not because it is distant, but because we have forgotten how to see it. Meister Eckhart, a Christian mystic of the Middle Ages, spoke of a seed planted by God in every soul, a silent point, untouched by space and time, where life itself dwells. Not the life that is born and dies, but the life that never began and will never end. In the Gospel of Truth, an ancient Gnostic text, it is written, "Whoever has come to know himself has risen above the world and has become what he was before the world came into being." The place of life is not a memory of something past. It is what has never passed, only been forgotten. It is not the innocence of ignorance, but the purity of undivided being. No separation between self and world, between breath and breathing, between light and I. Only being, only life, only presence. Perhaps the child does not preserve this place because it knows it, but because it has not yet lost it, because it has not yet entered the realm of separation, not yet been captured by names, concepts, time. It still stands on the threshold between origin and becoming, touched by the world, but not yet bound. And, perhaps, if the old man listens deeply enough, not with his ears, not with his mind, but with that which is older than thought itself, perhaps then he will sense it, not as an answer, not as a possession, but as a quiet remembering of what has always been there, his own heart, his first light, still unveiled, still unforgotten. The world has its order, an order of noise and haste, of names and titles, of first and last, of victors and vanquished. Yet it is said, many who are first will become last. What is great in the eyes of the world is small in the light of eternity. What shines will fade. What is loud will fall silent. The old man knows this. He has seen it. How kings fall, how towers crumble, how words dissolve, how fame drifts away like dust in the wind. The path back is a path of forgetting, forgetting what the world called important, forgetting what once carried weight, stripping away not only possessions, but all that burdens the soul. Gregory of Nyssa, a mystic of the 4th century, whose thoughts were rooted in the search for the invisible, wrote, "The way to God is an endless ascent. Not an ascent to power, not an ascent to glory, but an inner rising, a descent into one's own depths. For the last will be first, not because he strives, but because he lets go. Not because he conquers, but because he remains silent. Many will become last, and they will not fear it, for they know, in the reversal lies the secret, in the small, the great, in the hidden, the visible, in the silence, the name no one speaks." Perhaps the child never thought otherwise. Perhaps it knew, to grow is not to become more, but to become less. Not to fill, but to empty. Not to rise, but to return home. Separated. This is how we live. Separated from the world, separated from ourselves, separated from the origin. We gather names, roles, masks. We clothe ourselves in stories, in desires, in fears, and with every new garment, we grow heavier, and the one we once were drifts farther away. Yet the saying declares, "And they shall become one." Not two, not many, one. What does this mean? Not isolation, not loneliness, but the end of separation. The return to the origin, where inner and outer are no longer in opposition. The child is still one. It knows no separation between gaze and the seen, between breath and breathing, between being and the world. It simply is. Hermes Trismegistus, the ancient teacher of wisdom, whose words wove together the mysteries of heaven and earth, wrote, "What is above is like what is below, and what is below is like what is above, to accomplish the wonders of the One." In Gnostic writings it is said, "Man is a divided unity, forgetting he comes from the fullness, from the one that encompasses all, and yet remains hidden." To become one means no longer being torn between wanting and not wanting, between having and losing, between being and seeming. It means to return to a state where names are no longer needed, where comparisons fade, where boundaries dissolve. Only being, only oneness. Unity does not mean that all things become the same. Unity means that what divides falls away, that inner and outer flow again like a single stream, that the heart no longer beats against the world, but with it, that you no longer seek because you have arrived. To become one is not to become someone new. It is to remember who you have always been, before the first name was given to you. Perhaps this is the place the old man seeks, not in writings, not in temples, not in words, but in the quiet breath of the One that always was, that always is. We are born, and we forget. We forget who we are. We forget where we come from. With every step, with every new name, with every desire, the sound of the origin fades. The world teaches us much: words, duties, dreams. But it also teaches us to forget the art of simple being. Plato, the ancient Greek philosopher, believed that all true knowledge is not discovery, but remembering, a knowing that sleeps deep within the soul, forgotten, but not lost. He called it anamnesis, the remembering of what has always been. Perhaps the child, the 7-day-old child, is still so near the origin that there is no need to forget. Perhaps it knows without knowing, is without asking. Remembering, not of stories, not of the past, but of that which belongs to no time, of the light that was never born, because it never ceased to be. But we forget. We forget and we seek. We lose and we hope. We break and we long. Yet those who listen deeply into the silence, beyond all thoughts, beyond all names, may sense a faint sound, a breath, a trace. Remembering is not doing. It is waking. It is returning home, not away from here, but deeper into what was never truly lost. Perhaps the old man does not seek the child to find new knowledge, but to remember what he had never lost. There are kings who wear crowns of gold, and there are kings who wear no crown, no throne, no name. The true king does not rule over lands. He does not rule over people. He rules over himself, over that which tears him apart: fear, greed, forgetting. In Gnostic tradition, it is said, "The one who has come to know himself becomes a child of the living Father, and returns to the invisible crown he has always worn, without ever knowing it. Not in power, not in honor, not in possession lies his reign, but in stillness, in return, in remembrance." The old man who asks the child does not seek words. He does not seek knowledge. He seeks life. And the child, only 7 days old, perhaps answers not with language, but with presence, with a glance, with a breath, with mere being that wishes to be nothing and therefore becomes all. The kings of this world come and go, but the hidden king endures, because he possesses nothing and so receives all, because he seeks nothing and thus finds all, because he desires to become nothing and thus remains himself. Perhaps this journey does not end in knowledge, nor in words, nor in victory, but in a quiet awakening, a child, a breath, a king without a crown, a man who has remembered himself and therefore lives.